welcome back to Emotional Support Cookie. I'm Mama.
And I'm Dada.
And we do want to say thank you to those who have tuned in and listened to our episode last week. And I hope you are here again with us. As you can tell, I am a little exhausted. Our 3-year-old was acting crazy and didn't want to go to sleep. Bath times have become a chore.
Torture.
Huh?
Torture chambers.
He doesn't want to go to sleep. He doesn't want to bathe.
He just
screams.
He hates soap. I don't think it's the water, it's soap for some reason.
And don't even come after us. It was tear-free.
Yeah, it's tear-free. He just doesn't like...
Tear-free.
But see, it's not even that... The thing is, he starts screaming when you start putting it on his body. It's not like it's in his eyes or...
Oh, no. And it's even when you pour water on him. I don't know.
Yeah, he likes water. He likes a bath or to go swimming, but he doesn't like...
Showers.
To be washed off.
I don't know what it is. The enclosure, maybe?
No, because if we just leave the shower head there on the floor, he'll play like a splash pad.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just being washed is what he doesn't like. I don't know.
And so we've had an exhausting day. I feel like today was particularly exhausting. Not that every day is exhausting. Because
in some way, yeah.
I just feel like you have to entertain him. Well, that's just me.
Yeah. I think there's a balance that we have to find there because I don't think you have to entertain your child 24/7. I think that is kind of the new instant gratification generation of having something to watch, immediate YouTube videos and stuff like that kids don't know how to be bored. If there is a lull for 10 seconds, it's just I'm bored. Growing up, it's fine, entertain yourself, figure it out. Now it's they immediately complain that they're bored. They have to be entertained.
Which he hasn't. He doesn't complain that he's bored, but
no.
I feel like we do bring out the iPad when we're totally exhausted or it's been a day already. So we'll be okay, 10 minutes on the iPad, and that'll give us 10 minutes to breathe.
Yeah, I don't view it as something for him to be on all the time. I think we just use it as hey, we need a break. This isn't working. My knees and back don't want to agree with me long enough to play on the floor much longer. I have to get up type of thing because being on the floor for so long is exhausting.
Playing with those heroes.
Yeah, playing with toys.
Being a Dada hero.
Yes.
So on this episode, I wanted to touch on being an only child for my child.
Yes.
Raising
an only child.
Raising an only child. As of now, he's an only child, and it feels like we've been back and forth for years. Obviously, he's only 3.
So 3 years of back and forth on whether or not he's going to have a sibling.
Yeah, and I think that was our dog. I don't know if you can hear it, but I think that recently it's gotten a little worse because now he's able to communicate. And so there was 2 really
tough moments
that stood out, especially for me. One of them was we were at the park. It was me, Dada, baby, and my dad. Grandpa. And we got him on this, I guess a merry-go-round thing, and they sit down. Well, he was the only one on there. And he looks around and he's kind of sad. So I'm like, well, what's wrong? He's like, well, I wish I had friends. I wish I had someone to sit with me. And honestly, even now I'm getting a little choked up in the throat. It broke me to pieces. And I know that we could play with him, but will that be enough? And
We can play with him to a certain extent, right? There's only certain things that we can do, that we can play on, but we can't, get on all the slides and stuff like that with him on playgrounds. And
my dad has.
yeah,
Grandpa is quite the adventurer with him at the park. I am getting teary-eyed. I'm sorry.
yeah. No, I mean, we try to play as close to a child as we can, as play like children as best we can. I know we don't necessarily have the
Imagination.
I wouldn't
The
say the
drive.
imagination,
The stamina.
the stamina to keep up with him. Yes, because he can be a little ball of energy, and he just wants to run here and there and here and there, and he'll exhaust himself out before he realizes he's exhausted. So we have to reel him back in, make sure he keeps hydrated and doesn't give himself a heat stroke out there because it is so hot.
And then the second time, oh God.
The second time,
he was direct.
the second time was very direct. The second time was with me. We were
At my sister's in San Antonio.
yes, we were at her sister's house.
And mind you, before we get into the story, he does have two cousins. One is a boy and he's 14, and the other one is a girl and she's 13. And so he had been playing with my nephew, or our nephew, in his room for a while. So I feel like he was
having that
really enjoying
family
that,
bonding
yeah.
time. Yeah, and so he was getting to play with his cousins because he doesn't get to see them, all the time. But we went over there, we spent some time with them, and he got to play with his cousins. And I guess that was kind of like fresh in his mind that, they're siblings. They have a sibling. So we were going to sleep. And so he was laying down with me in the bed. No, on the floor. He wanted to sleep on.
Yeah, we were already going to sleep.
Yeah,
we were already in our established places of sleep.
We had the little mattress on the floor for him, right? Yeah, we pulled the little mattress out for him, and he wanted me to sleep with him. I didn't fit on the mattress, so I slept on the floor. But as I was laying down there with him, he, lights off, we're tucked in, and then he says, "Dada, I want a brother and a sister." And I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Nothing, let's just go to sleep." But it was just so random and out of nowhere, to bring it up, and then he completely backtracks it, and it didn't come from anywhere. There was no, or at least at the moment, it didn't seem like it came from anywhere. But in retrospect, it's probably one of those things that he was spending time with his cousins, and he saw his cousins and how they have somebody to play with, quote unquote, even though they don't necessarily play with each other because
they're teenagers.
They're teenagers, and teenagers of opposite genders tend to butt heads more than agree.
But I feel like they're getting along more.
Oh yeah, they get along more now than they did when they were growing up.
Yeah.
But our son, he, I guess, took notice of what, having a sibling and having someone there. And I think he wants to have someone closer to his age to play with all the time. And it's not to say that he doesn't have friends, like the park incident of him saying, he wanted to have friends. It's not that he doesn't. He does have friends. He does have cousins that are close to his age that do come over and play with him.
Not all the time. We try our best to get them over
and
here.
And then we do have the neighbors here on the street that, they're a little older, but he has gone outside and played with them, and we'll go outside and have some sort of interactive time for them to all play together. So he has friends. But
it's just hard because I feel like
we both grew up in families.
I feel like I'm bugging those people to bring over these kids so that my son could feel...
It feels like, hey, come entertain our child.
No, that's awful. No, but for him to play, for him to have someone to laugh with and at his level, because yeah, we could have conversations with him, but I feel like, we're still adults, so we don't know how to communicate in that level.
Right.
Like,
And like I said, it is still like a very
it's hard.
tough thing. Like obviously we grew up in larger families, me
Not
especially.
very large, but
I kind of have a larger family. I have a lot of family members. So it's, between siblings and step siblings and half siblings, and then even my parents have tons of siblings. So yeah, the my family is very extensive, and so I'm used to having a lot of people around, and so it is a different dynamic for him than for me. Like I know that my childhood experience is going to be very different than his, but I think what matters, I guess, at the end of the day, is making sure that just because we can't relate to his experience the same way, I don't think that will negate us from being able to give him a happy childhood and being able to raise him happy. Yes, he may not, have a sibling. He may not get a sibling, but that doesn't mean he won't be a happy child and he won't be happy and he won't have friends that fill that role. There's a lot of people
who are only children.
there's a lot of people who are only children who are just fine, but there's also a lot of people who prefer their friends over their family. Just because your family doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna like or love each other. Like there is, and it's a horrible thing to say, but it's
some siblings do not get along, and I've seen it firsthand where they won't even talk to said sibling, and it's horrible. Even in my dad's family, he has one sister that's alive, and they don't speak. So, I mean, it goes to show, right, that just because you have a sibling doesn't mean you're going to be close or you're going to be in love with them.
Yeah.
But I do feel like, I mean, when my mom passed away, I do feel like you have someone to kind of
fall back on. But that, I mean,
like,
like I
in
said,
the end,
that I think that falls
he
back
does
on.
only have, in the end, he does only have, for right now, 2 cousins that he is actively, or that we have tried to go see, or they come in.
Yeah, I mean, he
has his other cousins
that he sees sporadically.
Wish a little more, but I mean, I guess circumstances or
yeah, I mean,
it's not always. But anyway, like, why? I mean, a lot of people will say, well, just try to have another one, right? But with the pregnancy that I had with my son already, I didn't even make it to the 3rd trimester. There was a medical emergency and all of this happened, and then he came about. So it's not an easy thing, and honestly, we took a while to get pregnant also. I do feel like it was a miracle. The weekend before we found out I was pregnant, I had a dream that my mom gave me, in the dream, she gave me a baby boy. Beautiful. And then that weekend, I got pregnant. And from then on, I knew it was going to be a boy because I knew my mom had given me my son. And so, I don't know. Sorry if it would happen again. And not to say that even though it was really hard, it was a really hard pregnancy, that I wouldn't do it again, because I probably would. But I don't know if it would happen.
Yeah, like we said before, it's it's not an easy thing. You know, some people just say, just go have a baby, and it doesn't happen that easy for everybody. And, you know, there's people who want it, who struggle, and there's people who, let's be honest, have too many and don't deserve any. There's some that don't deserve any. There, you know, you see the horror stories, and like now that, you know, it's summer right now, and there's so many neglected children's stories that pop up, and it's heartbreaking. And, you know, I can't speak to those that, you know, that are legitimate accidents or that have too many children to juggle, or, you know, there's everybody's journey in parenthood is different. Everybody's going to have a different experience, a different story. And this one is ours. This is
And
our
that's why I
experience.
kind of feel offended by that quote or meme that's going around that says, "Who would want to choose to be a mom at 40?" And it's like, if I could do it all over again, would I do it younger? I'm not sure, because I don't know if I was
Mature enough?
mature enough. I was very selfish. I used to love me, and that's pretty much it. And when he came along, it's literally been him.
Yeah.
So that's...
I always feel like I was emotionally set to be a father. I've always, you know, I wanted to be a dad. I was ready to be a dad. I was already in the mindset of he comes first over everybody. Even before we knew we were pregnant, I was already in the mindset that, like, no, our child or children or whatever it may be comes first. I say children because we made the joke of watch where we have all these struggles to have one, and then all of a sudden we have multiples right off the bat because it runs in our families, and so that possibility was always there. We didn't, you know, probably fortunately that we didn't, because of the struggles and the emergencies that brought him forth early. I don't know how that would have fared if it was multiples, but you know, I was always emotionally ready to be a father. I was ready. I was excited. I don't know if I was necessarily steady in life, both, you know, just financially or having everything set out. Like I didn't.
Oh, if you were younger.
Yes, when I was younger, I was probably much more chaotic with my
Spending.
finances. Yeah. So, but you know, everything kind of happens when it needs to happen, and you know, I had a coworker now, a teacher friend who, you know, she said that, you know, this is how babies happen. She's and she teaches health science, so she's the medical background, but she's like, yeah, you know, babies come when they're ready. Everything happens when it needs to happen and how it needs to happen, and you know, you can't plan for everything. They'll come when they're ready, and everything just, you know, it'll work out. And so far, that's been true. Like, even when we're like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do that? And, you know, you jump that hurdle without thinking of it. Yeah, it's just, you more than manage. I feel like we've more than managed. I think we've done
But a
very
lot
well.
of things have fallen into place.
And then that's,
Because my mother-in-law was able to take care of him for the first year he was alive, which was amazing. And then we found this amazing daycare,
yes.
and his teacher has become almost family.
Yeah.
She is incredible, and she has helped with our son.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, I want to know, how did you guys come to a conclusion of, yeah, I'm going to try for another one, or no, I think I'm going to stay with one? And I feel like it's still going to be in our heads forever. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes we'll come after we put him to sleep and we'll just talk about it and cry. And I feel like
I think as long as the shop is still working, there's always that possibility that, maybe. But is it planned for right now? No. I don't think we're currently planning. I think we're back on the boat of we're probably a one and done.
Yeah.
But that's always a one and done question mark.
And I kind of feel like you're more already like one and done and I'm okay.
Well, no, I think we flip. I think we flip a lot. And I think that's the problem.
The other day,
the problem is that
I was like, I don't think I want one. And then he's like, I thought we were on board to do this.
Yes.
And I feel like I just get scared.
And then when I finally resign myself to like, okay, we're fine. It's fully accepted. Then you come back in like, well, what about? Well, maybe we should. And then then it goes back into my mind, and then we flip back and forth. It's chasing our tail. We're going first. Yes, no, no, yes, yes, no, no, yes. And I think that's also the tricky part is we're both on separate pages.
Yeah. And I'm trying hard to think about it already because I am 38. And I have a friend who had hers at 41, I believe. She had twins.
It's just hard to think about going to a high school graduation at nearly 60.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, my mom was kind of an older mom as well with us. Oh, and my older sister's 9 years older than I am. So she's kind of an only child in a sense. And then we came along and ruined everything. Stole all her Barbies and stuff she didn't want to be taken.
And another thing that like we said, we don't know if we're gonna have it, and maybe at this time we say no, and then down the line we change our mind, but it's not physically possible. Before we had him, we had considered adoption, and I think
we were so close.
We were very close to that, yeah. And I think we're looking at fostering.
Yeah. And honestly, I feel like everything happened at the right time because I don't think things would have happened because my mom was very sick. And I was stressed out all the time that I don't think my body even could handle having. And maybe that's another episode.
Yeah.
We'll say my birth story or something.
That's another story for another time.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening. And hopefully you can comment down below and tell us a little bit about your story or any questions you might have, any advice.
What's the ideal number? What's the cutoff time? What influences your decision on how many to have and when it's time to say we're good?
Anyway, have a very good morning because this will be a morning show.
Well, have a good day, good week.
Week. See you next time.
I don't know if you're going to listen to it this morning, but hopefully this is out in the morning, but that doesn't mean people are going to listen to it in the morning.
Well, anyway, hopefully you do listen to it and you like it. And thank you all, those of you that listened again. It means a lot to us. Anyway, I'm Mama.
I'm Dada.
Bye.